What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Straight Talk Wireless again. TCL 40XE 5G. Not the best name, a little long in the tooth, but that's what it's called. Another big boy here with the 6.56-inch screen, 32 hours of battery, 3 cameras with a front-facing camera as well, and 64 gigabytes of memory. Let's see what the back says. It is expandable to 1 terabyte, Wi-Fi calling capable, another octa-core processor, which seems to be in all these phones anyway. I mean, at this point, octa-core is the de facto for a lot of these lower-end phones, or even newer phones. I mean, I don't really know how many is in a lot of these. Octa-core is just on every single one of these boxes. Inside, you have your activation card, charger, the phone, USB cable, quick start guide, so on and so forth. So let's break this open and see what's on the inside of it. Just kind of looking at the front, you can see it has a teardrop display though. So I am a fan of those, but I know they're played out now. But I still think they aren't too bad, in my opinion. Let's crack this open. All right. Here we are with the inside. Again, the classy packaging from Straight Talk. Always keeping it 100 with them. So let's take off this big plastic cover, and we have the phone, which has the sticker on the front to show us everything we need to know about how the phone's going to look. And let's put that up to the side for now. We have our paperwork. Oh, look, this one comes with a wall charger. So that's good news for those of you who are lacking one somehow. But it is USB-A, so boo. We have a cord, which I believe is USB-A to USB-C, but only one way to find out. Let's break this open. Yup, USB-C with a USB-A end as well. So, and then you do get this little SIM removal tool, which is kind of like a square. So that's pretty cool. That might actually be nice to hold on to. Other than that, you know, just your typical paperwork. Nothing else in here because it is Straight Talk, so not going to get the most premium experience. But hey, you still get more out of this than you do a $1,400 iPhone or a Samsung device. So kudos to TCL for that. Let's check out the phone itself. This thing is already ready to come off and be powered on. It's eager. You can tell it wants to be a phone already. And let's peel that off. All right. Just kind of holding it for the first time. Let's get some more stuff. Oh, look, it tells you kind of where the SIM tray is and everything on the back. So you can see like the SIM tray, SIM pin, where the micro SD. So like all of it's kind of on the back. But once you kind of remove that sticker, which is super convenient, you are given this plasticky back that has like this metallic looking finish to it. It's not offensive, but it does have that, when you scratch against it kind of feel. You can hear that, right? I mean, that's just how it sounds. So it's got some little grooves and whatnot in there, but it's not bad, especially when you compare it to its younger, uglier, bezelier brother here, the TCL Ion 5 or V or whatever. But this one does, the cameras look upgraded, which is nice, versus this. No removable battery in this one like you do get in this. So you can tell it's going to be a bit of an upgrade. I did go online. It does seem like they are probably discontinuing this phone, so you might be able to get it for a good price. Just be aware of that. And let's power it on for the first time. And while that powers on, we'll look at the side here. You have the volume rocker and the power button. And the power button's a little flat, so this is probably also a fingerprint reader. I can't think of any other reason to make it like that. On the top, we have a single microphone. On the other side, we have the SIM and micro SD tray. And on the bottom, we have the USB-C and the headphone jack and speaker. So the usual setup that we see on basically all these phones. The screen is, it's fine. It's looking like a screen. I mean, look, you're going to get what you're going to get for this price. It's not going to be the best with the greatest angles. I mean, you can kind of tell it starts getting darker as you tilt inward. But if you're looking directly at it, this should be fine. Let me go ahead and set it up, guys, and I'll get right back to you. All right, guys, it is all set up, and I just want to say it does feel, like that plasticky, that we expect from TCL phones, but since you can't change the battery in this, it does feel a little bit more solid because of it, but still not the best build quality in my opinion. Just some of the specs I want to run through really quickly. This phone was released June of 2023, so it's a little older than a year now. Has an IPS LCD 90 hertz panel, 6.56 inches, 720p, Android 13 still with TCL's UI, which is not actually that bad of a UI. It's pretty interesting, and we'll kind of get to that. Runs a MediaTek Dimensity 700 chip, 64 gigabytes of internal storage, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 13 megapixel main camera, followed with a 2 megapixel depth at f2.4 and a 2 megapixel macro at f2.4, LCD flash, and video at 1080p 30 frames a second. For a lot of people, I think that's more than fine. I really don't ever see anyone outside of tech reviewers talk about shooting in 4K, and I personally don't get it, but you want to have the better obviously, but it does take up more space. It's a more cumbersome to kind of handle that level of data. It does have a 8 megapixel front facing camera that's f2.0, so this will be good for your zooms and whatnot. The fingerprint scanner does work pretty darn fast. As you can see, all I have to do is lay my finger on it and I can push the button and it goes quickly. It does also have face unlock, so if I were to touch it with a finger that's not that, and yeah, there you go, shows you that you have that. I just kind of want to say the screen is fine for the most part. The only thing I'll say is that when you are outdoors, the visibility goes down pretty drastically. And that's something I kind of came across when I was taking some pictures. I was having a hard time really enjoying seeing what I was, taking a picture of. I have this thing all the way up to 100 for brightness, and it still wasn't the best outdoor experience but I also live somewhere with a lot of sunlight. So if you don't live somewhere that has, a crazy amount of sun, this will work just fine. But if you do somewhere that is a little bit more sunny, somewhere in the Southwest, somewhere like if you live in like Seattle, it's going to be fine. If you live somewhere like Phoenix, you may want to reconsider, just because I don't feel like this is a great outdoor visibility phone. Let's go and check out the music now. All right, let's test out these speakers and see how they sound. The only thing I can really say about that is it sounds flat. It sounds very, very flat. It's loud enough. I think you'd be able to kind of enjoy listening to it in a room by yourself, but I think that it's not loud enough to be used in outdoors or something. So definitely utilize the headphone jack or use Bluetooth, speakers or Bluetooth headphones with this, because I think this is not a great speaker, in my opinion. It's very flat, and it could be louder, in my opinion. I think it's loud enough-ish, but definitely could be louder. So I don't know. I would say with this, if you're in a quiet room, great. If you're not, please use some other form of listening to this. Otherwise, you're going to walk away fairly disappointed. All right, let's test watching videos on this and see how it sounds. What's up, guys? Back again with another video. This time it's going to be about the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra, which was just announced recently. This is the S8 Ultra, and I absolutely love this thing. It is such a wonderful tablet, and this one I'm sure is going to be just fine. I just kind of want to talk about it a little bit and see what's changing and what's going on with it. All right, so once again, it just sounds flat. That's really my biggest gripe with this phone so far, is that speaker is it's boring to listen to. It's the Ben Stein of speakers.
Controlled House of Representatives in an effort to alleviate the effects of the... Anyone?
It just comes across as very monotone, and there are definitely phones that I think have better, single firing speakers than this one, but it'll do the job. I'll say that it'll do the job. but definitely for as far as the 5G selection on Straight Talk, this is by far at the lower end of the speaker spectrum. So that's just something that I'm noticing, and think you guys should definitely know about. But it's not bad. Once again, it'll get you through if you're kind of watching, and definitely want to cup your hand if you can to get a better hear of it. But once again, headphone jack, definitely use it if you want that better sound quality. All right, let's talk about software here. This phone software you can see runs the TCL UI version 5, and it's fine. It's a little different than your stock Android stuff, which I kind of appreciate. I mean, there's a lot of phones out there, especially at the lower end, that just kind of take the stock Android experience and wrap it up. But this is a little bit unique to itself. I mean, there are things that are in here that you won't find in other phones. Next Vision here, which gives you some extra little things you probably haven't seen on their phones: image enhancement, video enhancement, game enhancement, reading mode, eye comfort mode, darker display mode. So darker display mode will achieve lower screen brightness, which I don't think you're gonna need, but I mean, it's there. Sunlight display mode, increased readability. Yeah, I would not say that's increased readability in my opinion. But the reading mode is pretty cool. I mean, if you click it, it makes everything black and white, so that if you are reading a book or something, it will look a little bit easier on your eyes, which I think is pretty darn cool in my opinion. So I mean, if you were to go to a website to kind of read something, yes, it makes everything black and white, but it is easier on the eyes. I won't lie. It's definitely easier to read this. And it's kind of cool to see all these things that would normally be very colored and stuff muted. So I actually kind of wish that this was on more phones so that I can use it with reading apps like Feedly or something. I think this is a really, really cool addition to this phone. So outside of that, though, let me go ahead and turn that back on. Outside of that, there isn't a whole lot of difference as far as the rest of it goes. I mean, it's got your Google Now side. It does have, a different little situation up here. So you have, your widgets and everything placed in ways that I think are nice and big and easy to touch, which is kind of nice. So, you can turn on your flashlight really quick. You can turn it off really quick. You have your mobile data. You have your rotation. I think that these are, they're editable. So you can decide which ones you want to edit and whatnot. So that's kind of nice, much like Samsung. I think like the bigness of it. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of other big differences in the software that'll differentiate itself from the rest of the pack. It does have the same level of crazy game bloatware that you get on any of these Straight Talk phones. So definitely get ready to spend time handling that. And I definitely did do a lot of updates when I got this phone. I think I went through about 8 or 9 updates. I mean, it was just one security update after another, which is actually really good, but there was 0 OS updates. So that is kind of a bummer because they're maintaining that 13, but they are not pushing it forward. And I assume that's because they're saving it for their newest XE50 version, which, it's fine. But once again, these phones are definitely ones that you may want to only keep for a year if they're not planning on updating more regularly. That's just my thought on it. All right, let's talk about gaming on this phone. So I did some gaming on it. I tested out 3 games. I did Smash Hit, which is a very light game that's very mobile friendly, very touch friendly. So you just kind of go through and you push the screen where the glass shards need to be broken, and you just kind of throw the balls at them. And as it's moving through, it is smooth. There's no hiccups, no lags, no anything, which is super nice. The game, I mean, obviously is the lightest of the bunch, so it's definitely just a good, starting point to test out and see if we can even handle something that light. I then moved on to the Asphalt 8, and much like some of the other budget phones, I mean, it runs fantastic. I do not know how Asphalt 8 does it, but they have created a very, very phone-friendly game, and I had no issue. I didn't see any lag. I didn't see any hiccups. It was definitely one of those things that kind of just worked. I mean, every level went without a hitch, and every single time I was crashing into someone, there was no lag, kind of speeding back into the action. So that was really nice. And then I played Call of Duty mobile, and that one it worked great also. I didn't see any lag, no issues, no hiccups. So, I mean, as far as gaming on this phone, I'm not going to say it's going to play all the games the best, but it seems to work just fine. I mean, this would just be like a cool little casual gaming phone. It does get kind of hot around the top back of the phone. And then, like when I was playing Call of Duty, my finger would be resting on the top portion of the phone, and you could definitely feel the heat was coming in through this area and the back. So, I mean, just watch out for that heating situation. It does get a little warm, but otherwise, it is a perfectly fine gaming phone that seems to be actually really, really good at keeping frame rate and not making it look like a stuttery mess like their older TCL phone, which I thought wasn't as great. So, the TCL Ion would be this one. It works fine, but this one you could definitely tell is better. Having more RAM and everything available definitely helps. So yeah, gaming on the phone, and give it a thumbs up. All right, let's talk about the camera on this phone, and kind of just some of the quality that I've seen coming out of it. And I'm kind of sort of, I think the screen doesn't do it justice, but honestly, the pictures weren't that bad. This is just a quick macro shot of one of the plants that I came across, and I mean, it's nice. The detail is good, especially on the leaf here. It's not a bad picture at all. Maybe under the right, lighting conditions, it's just kind of like that. But here's just another idea, and I'll, kind of show you more of the other pictures. I think the output when you take them from the camera to the computer and then kind of see them here is a much better idea of what you're actually getting than what you're seeing, because I think that the screen on this kind of does a disservice to what you're actually getting as the end result if you do view it on something more like an AMOLED screen at home or something. But I will say, overall, these pictures are not that bad. It's capturing plenty of detail. It's getting lots of colors. I mean, if you zoom in a little bit, you can see that it does lose a lot of detail in some places. I took a picture of this bird that was just sitting in a tree, and looks like it had caught a worm, which was my first time ever actually seeing that. And it doesn't look bad, but I mean, obviously you could tell that it kind of degrades as you zoom in, and the thing in its mouth is pretty much indistinguishable from what it could just be a leaf or something, but it definitely was a worm that I saw. And other than that, these pictures are plenty vibrant. A little bit of blur here and there in certain areas, but honestly, it's really not bad at all for the price. I think that this camera is actually better than I was expecting, but it's still obviously not the greatest camera. But if you do need something to take a quick photo of, family and, just kind of memories outside, I would definitely say this is a great one. And the front facing camera doesn't seem to be too bad either. I didn't really mind it. I thought that the end result was fairly flattering and good. I mean, it came out with not too much over processing, which is nice, because I really do hate when they have those heavy face smoothing programs on it. But I would say, really overall, not a bad camera set. So overall, what are my impressions of this phone? It's not bad. It's not a bad phone. I think honestly, for the price, it's not that bad. It's definitely the cheapest 5G phone I think you're going to find on the network. So if you have Straight Talk and you're looking for a inexpensive 5G option, I think this is probably your best bet compared to the Samsung or the Motorola. This one, I believe, was $40 on sale. Normally 79, I want to say. But I think they do have a new one, like I said. So the 50, this is the 40. So I don't know if this one's going to be around anymore. But if you do find it, I would say give it a shot. You might like it. For the price, you do get the pretty good amount of power here. 64 gigabytes. Sure, it's not a lot. I think 128 should be the base. But 256 realistically is where I think a lot of the flagship should be. But on something like this, 120 I think is fine. Memory's so cheap nowadays that I can't imagine it's going to cost them so much more to add that extra 64 gigabytes. But hey, I could be wrong. I don't know how to make phones. But it's not a bad phone, guys. I think that if you're just looking for something that is 5G and plays games pretty well, has a fairly decent camera. The sound, like I said, is a little flat. So, I mean, that's really the only downside here. But, I mean, if you're using Bluetooth headphones most of the time or just kind of want to listen to something casually in a low noise environment, I don't think this will be an issue. But other than that, yeah, TCL 40XE 5G, I don't know. It's good enough. I think that's pretty much the whole crux of this video, is that this phone is good enough. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you for watching. Give it a like if you enjoy watching, and give it a sub if you want to see more like it. I'm just kind of playing around with the format of doing different things, but this is just a quick review for you. So stay tuned. I might have some more in the future here. But once again, thank you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.